From the burning mesas of the Arizona desert to the slot machine-clad boardwalks of New Jersey, it's the Imaginarium with Scott and Todd. I'm Scott Colbert.
I'm the horror nerd, Todd Staruch.
And before we get into anything, before we even introduce the guest, I have a grievance.
Uh-oh, what did I do now?
No, it's not what you did, okay?
Oh,
Now, you know, I've talked about this antenna TV, this TV station. It plays all the old sitcoms from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and that's what my television is turned to about 90% of the time. Now, at 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, every day, I could count on Maude being on. And I like that because I now get half the jokes that I didn't get when it was on originally. But today it wasn't on. And you want to know what they replaced it with?
Do tell.
Father Knows Best.
Those bastards.
And then I thought, well, okay, maybe at 5:30, because they played 2 episodes back to back. So maybe at 5:30. No, not at 5:30. At 5:30, they put Hazel on. And not even the color Hazel. It was the black and white Hazel.
Scott,
and the first thing they show on Hazel is she's fisting a turkey. So this is how my Thanksgiving Eve is going.
Now, so during did that get you turned on, the fisting of the turkey, or?
Oh yeah, I rubbed one out.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not
all right.
lying
As long as
about
things
that.
were somewhat normal.
Well, aside from tomorrow being Thanksgiving, it's also the Imaginarium's 2nd anniversary.
Woohoo!
Yes, can you believe that?
Wow, 2 years of this.
And people still fucking listen to it.
Well, we pay them, so but they better.
Yeah, well, that's true. But you know who else is joining us today?
I forgot.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Joining us for our 2nd anniversary show, he's a longtime protege since the inception of the old Talkbacker website, which is now defunct. And he's often known for being outspoken, like most of us. He's the self-proclaimed satirist, pop culture enthusiast, and fellow contributor of the Supernauts. It's the one, it's the only, it's StalkEye.
Whoa.
Hey. Happy second anniversary, guys.
Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to you. And I hope you don't have to see Shirley Booth fist a turkey.
Hey, enough for that. And I had to hold myself from laughing my ass off when you said that Mort was replaced by fucking Hazel and Fathers Know Best. Gee, it looks like the Trump movement is already taking a current.
Right.
I'm expecting Leave It to Beaver, Nazi, and Harriet at 6 and 6:30.
Oh yeah, we're reverting right back to the 50s already.
Well, the good news is in about 5 weeks we won't be able to blame Obama for this shit anymore.
No, the new phrase will be "Thanks, Trump."
Exactly.
Thanks, Trump, you fucking hump.
Trump the hump. Like that.
That's going to be a new bumper sticker.
We invented something here today.
Yes, we did. Absolutely. And before we get into the meat, the gristle of the show, I want to talk about the Cars 3 teaser trailer.
Okay.
Just because I saw it and I had, thoughts about it. Now, I've never been a fan of the Cars franchise. I think any franchise that has Larry the Cable Guy as a voice has made a misstep somewhere. And but I did see the first one, which was okay. I just couldn't bring myself to see the second one. And so there's this teaser trailer for the third one. And the tagline at the very end is, "From this moment on, everything changes." And my first thought was, Oh, you're going to be making a good Cars movie then. It didn't show much, but it looks like there's going to be some kind of a death, or somebody's going to the great junkyard in the sky, I suppose. What were your thoughts on it, guys?
I actually just watched it like a minute before we started recording because you had asked me to, and I was like, fuck, I forgot. I watched it, and I'm like, okay, I don't care about this movie any more than I cared about Cars 2. And I'm a pretty big fan of Pixar, you know?
Yeah.
The talking car thing just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me the way any of the other Pixar movies did, you know? I just couldn't, I don't know why. Maybe because I can't even say why, God damn it. It just didn't resonate with me the way, say, like a Toy Story did.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, meh. You know, my little nephew, he loved it. You know, he was like 7 or whatever when it came out. And he thought, you know, because, you know, a little boy, he thought talking cars were cool.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. So I saw the trailer and I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll ultimately end up watching it with my nephew at some point. But other than that, don't care.
What about you, StalkEye?
Put me in the same camp with Todd. I don't care for most of the Pixar films, with the noted exception of The Incredibles, because obviously it paid homage to Marvel's Fantastic Four, had that old 60s retro style. But cars and planes and trains or whatever the fuck, it doesn't interest me. You know, maybe my godchildren, they're definitely into those cartoons, films. But I would prefer, you know, the genres like, because, you know, I'm a certified geek, like the DC animated movies. That's my bread and butter there.
So what are your geek credentials? Because we've got a little bit of a different audience. The demographics for the audience aren't what they were when we first started. Because when Supernats and Imaginarium first started, the only people that were really listening were people who were part of the Supernats and people who were aware of it from the old site. But having Todd on the show for the last year and a half, and having some of the guests that he's had on, and, you know, both of us meeting some of the people that we've met who are now listening to the show, it's not the same crowd. So who the fuck are you, StalkEye?
I'm from like the same, I should say, generation as you guys, because I'm in my 40s, and I know about the past comics, characters, developments from various genres, be it the 70s, what is it, the Bronze Age, Marvel Comics, as well as, you know, the 80s, where things really became, in pop culture, became more into the mainstream with movies and animated series and those 30-minute toy commercials, as they call them, from Transformers and, of course, G.I. Joe. But back then, I ran with a bunch of like-minded people that were into, you know, comics and all that stuff. And, you know, during high school, and we were sort of like the outsiders, because this was before geek became the mainstream.
Yeah, it's like Todd said last week. We were geeks when geeks were getting beat up.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
I didn't get my ass kicked, but I got into my share of fights.
But I came across you from Talkback, but you were on Ain't It Cool News in the Talkback section for a long time, weren't you?
Oh yeah, since 2006, It was, I guess, the original alumni, like myself, Asimov Lives, of course, Creepy Thin Man, Killick. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah. Oh, that prick.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He has his moments.
Yeah, I can't really complain about Killick too much. He gets on my tits every now and then, but everybody does.
Oh, well, back then he got on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah.
I remember during the days of Talkbacker, him and Creepy got into it, and Creepy just said, "You're no longer my brother, Killick. You're my enemy." And like both of them going back and forth. I was like, "Oh, you should put these two guys out on the road, like a comedy troupe." At the end of the day, we're all, kind of like a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
But of course, there are a few that,
Well, and you still go over to Ain't It Cool News now, don't you? Or were you banned from there?
Well, here's the funny things. During that, what is it? The Shut Up Kids podcast where they that's that infamous segment about them slamming Harry Knowles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I think was it you and Creepy as well as Red English Rose as a guest?
Yep.
And D. Vader, who was a long-time poster from the Ain't It Cool News Talkback section. He added some commentary, and when I tried to promote the podcast, I was banned like in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, okay, that was quick. I guess after 5 or 6 years, like they said, boom, okay, we had enough of him. But of course, I managed to get back on.
Yeah, it's not too difficult to do that. Yeah, the that episode, that was the Lords of Talkbacker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Lords of Talk.
And they recorded that actually in 2 sections, and D. Vader and I forget who else was on that show because I didn't actually listen to it. I just listened to the section that I was on. That was also the very first podcast I was ever on.
Yeah, I remember. It was you, Dan, and
me, Dan, Nick.
Yeah, of course, Nick.
Creepy Thin Man and Rose.
Yeah, and Rose. Yeah.
And never get on a podcast with Creepy Thin Man because he owns it. He absolutely owns it. I mean, Ain't It Cool News, but you were never really involved in the talkback section, were you?
No, not at all. I'm sitting here. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, I know that you were so quiet, which isn't like you. So
I found some interesting porn while I was waiting for you guys to finish. So
was it that Shirley Booth fisting a turkey porn?
Yeah, I immediately looked up Shirley Booth porn, and lo and behold, so I was distracted for a minute. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get to where you join into this in just a couple of minutes. But for those who really are kind of lost by now, and you've heard us talk about Talkbacker, the origins of everything, at least as where I was concerned and I was connected with, was when Harry did a Kickstarter for his web show, his web TV show. And there was a big uproar over it, and a bunch of us decided that we were going to start our own website. And it was Finn who actually started it, and that was Talkbacker. And I think I had one of the very first articles ever posted on that. I think it was either my Star Wars article or the Shining article. But after about 9 months of absolute chaos, apparently, from what I've heard, Finn was getting a lot of cease and desist for some of the things we were printing. So he closed that and started up Pulp Epic. I was the first to leave Pulp Epic because I wasn't happy with how Finn wanted to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left, and Ronnie James Dio and Abe, Slate Fist Crunch, he was going by at the time, decided to do come up with the Supernauts. Now, the name was Dio's idea. And originally, it was just going to be the podcast, which was the debate show. Getting people to the website to listen to it, we decided to get more content. And so I brought all of my stuff over to it. And then people started adding their own stuff to it. And it became kind of what it is today. Now, even though the three of us are called co-founders, that first year, it was Abe who really did everything behind the scenes. I mean, he made the website. He maintained it. He was paying for everything. So he did a lot. So hats off to Abe for doing that for a year.
Oh, definitely. Props to Abe. And it's funny because I remember I said, oh, it's great mastheads and, web page designs you've done for the site. And you was like, oh, that was Abe. I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's been so good. We kept most of it until Dee started putting different stuff up, which I really liked for Halloween. But, Abe left, and I have to admit, I was kind of hurt and a little angry that he left us. I understand the reason, for doing it, but I still kind of felt a little hurt by it. So we had a choice of either closing it down or trying to fund it. I decided, since I was the last, surviving member of this WWE of websites, to start a GoFundMe to raise the money to keep it going. And everybody said, "You're fucking nuts. You're never going to make that money. It's a waste of time." And I remember people in some of the other sites that have chat rooms talking shit about me and the website, saying the same thing. Not only did we get it funded, we got it funded for 2 years.
Excellent. Definitely.
And that is more than what I could have possibly dreamed of. And we just passed our first year of that, and so we're going into our second. But, Supernauts is 2, Imaginarium is 2, and it's hard to believe now that I actually ever did this show on my own. And I go back and I listen to my old shows, and I think, holy fuck, you're bad. Oh, Jesus Christ. Todd brings out the best in me.
Aww.
Which really isn't saying much, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a frightening thought, actually.
Yeah, you two definitely have. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying you two definitely have a great working chemistry. I can't really think of anyone that would, substitute for either of you.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that.
I do appreciate it.
And it's funny because when I first had Todd on the show as a guest, he and I just fell into a very easy rapport. Because Todd is very easy to talk to. He's very gregarious. So, getting him to say something, doesn't require much effort.
This is true.
I'm just trying to be diplomatic about that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like when Todd goes on a rant, I'm like, oh, shit, here it comes. I'm like cringing with my headset on my way to work. Like listening to the show, like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I have my moments, I know.
Well, and, we both do. But I think those are the things that make the show what it is. Now, you've been, around this since the beginning. Well, before I get get to that, I do have to say, after Abe left, even though everything is like, legally is in my name, the name of the website, and all of that stuff is in my name, that website would not be there were it not for Detective D.
Oh, definitely.
If you want to talk about somebody who puts 100% into it, it's D. And I really can't thank the man enough. He's off in Hong Kong now on vacation, and it's very well deserved.
Yes.
Well, big props to D. He's like one of the hardest working guys from the site. Hopefully, down the line, it will lead to bigger and better things for him and all of the contributors. But I definitely acknowledge all his hard work and his contributions, and even his ideas for joint articles, as well as his columns that are directed at times for a niche market. Whether it's like obscure Asian films or like horror erotic movies. I'm like, what the hell is that?
And see, that's the great thing about the Supernauts is we don't rely on advertising to support ourselves.
Right.
So we can put up anything we really want to. And if nobody reads it, nobody reads it. But, we don't have any retailers or any businesses saying, please don't run that. It looks bad for our business.
Right. We don't adhere to any standards or quote unquote higher standards.
We have no standards.
Yeah, come on. There are no standards.
I mean, we just published Creepy Thin Man. Come on.
Yeah. And it's funny because when I click into the recent article, I have to scroll down quick so that no one at my job would take a glimpse of that statue or that Trump effigy.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Here's the thing about that. The last time Creepy wrote something for the website, it was probably just about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit less. And I can't remember what it was that he had written about. But I remember, I think there was either a nude woman or a severed penis. It was a severed penis that was in the picture. And so Abe had decided to not feature it. And that set off Creepy. And well, because as you know, Creepy is very passionate about, he wants everything the way that he put it. And being a writer, I understand that. So one of the reasons that I put that disclaimer at the top of his article was not only because I know a lot of people who are going to read it don't know who Creepy Thin Man is. I also want to let him know that I didn't fuck with anything. I didn't change one period, change one word, nothing. It was all his because I have no way of getting in contact with him. So that was my only way of letting him know that this is all yours. I didn't touch anything.
Yes, no one is supposed to fuck with his artistic merit or integrity. It's free expression, and that's the big problem I had with and this is not like let's attack Finn Day. I had a problem with Pulp Epic. Well, besides the name of the site, Pulp Epic. Then again, I was going to talk about the Supernauts. I didn't know that it was named by Dio, who he's definitely not on my Christmas list.
Yes. But, I don't think he's on anybody's, really.
More like the shit list.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, a guy that's ailing from diabetes and kidney disease wishes cancer on me. Yeah, what a class act. But fuck him anyway. Finn's Pulp Epic, there was too much censorship. It was like, you can't have this, or this has to be toned down. And it went to the extent of him implementing tighter restrictions on the Shut Up Kid podcast. Him and Danny had a discussion, going back and forth. And from what I gathered, the vibe was was basically like, take it or leave it, whatever, or fuck off. So.
And they fucked off.
Yep, off they went.
Was probably the biggest blow to Pulp Epic. Because prior to that, we were taking everybody away from Pulp Epic. I was the first to go. And because I was so associated with Talkbacker, with my articles and with the caption contest, that when I left, people were like, wow, if Scott left, something's going on. Then we got D, and then I Am Better, and then the Shut Up Kids came over, thanks to Ape. An hour or two after they told Finn they were leaving, Ape picked them up for the Supernauts.
Mm.
And that was pretty much the end of Pulp Epic.
Yeah, because the only stragglers that was left was me and Puck Propaganda and
Frankie Smells.
Yeah, Frankie Smells, Smalls, the English chop. Yeah, we were the only three left. So, hey, I still wanted my articles out there, and being that Dio, or as we call him, Dildo, was one of the founders of the Supernauts, I said, there's no fucking way in hell am I going over there. I had a talk with Dan, and he reassured, he said that everything would be okay. So I know, and also Puck out of nowhere said he's leaving to join the Supernauts. So I'm like, fuck. That's it. Shit. So, what can I do? For my own site? Yeah. I don't think I'll get that many hits on my own. So I joined, and I was well received.
And now you said something to me in an email about Todd. It was
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd.
I'm sorry, I was just listening for my name.
Yeah, he ignored us for the day.
I'm like, oh my god, this love fest! I'm gonna fucking puke.
So asshole. That's you, Todd.
Oh,
no, you actually, StalkEye, you were talking about when I mentioned that you were going to be on the show last week, you were talking about the pause that Todd had.
Yeah, I was laughing because there was like this eerie, moment of silence. Todd didn't know what to say, or what the fuck?
That's probably because I dozed off, because I don't often pay attention to what Scott is saying. So I probably had to snap out of it.
Because there was times in the past that I would break Todd's balls, so to speak, when he goes on his rants and becomes and that thing with my sock puppet, Ollie. There you go. I gave away my identity. I said to Zuma doll, left his stick up his ass. And he responded, "Oh, so you got jokes now."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh shit, he's gonna go on a tirade."
Now, look, I'm actually pretty easygoing. It's really, really hard to offend me. So usually, when someone makes a comment, I'm like, "Oh, so you think you're funny now? That's adorable." That's cute.
Yeah, I definitely know that you can give back. Well, let me see what's there. I don't want to get in this crosshairs. I like those rants when you was talking about the comic conventions. People are staring on their fucking cell phones and not looking up where they're going.
Oh, please. Please. Again, I was at another convention this past weekend, a smaller one called New Jersey Comic Expo. It's a smaller show, but a very good one. It's a lot of fun. But I just can't help but wonder, do people ever actually live in the moment anymore? or are they recording everything for some future fucking time when they're going to look at it? People are just, you're at a comic book, show. There's a lot of great artists here and vendors and cosplayers. And talk to fucking people. Like, what is on that phone that is so fascinating? Like, I don't get it. The only time I looked at my phone was to, because it buzzed, because my buddy said, "Oh, I'm here. Where are you?" Other than that, my phone was in my pocket. I am getting old and cranky. There's no maybe about it, but I don't get it. It's almost
agree.
like people don't want to socially interact with other people.
That's true. Most people are obsessed with their phones, and at the last convention that my friends and I went to, well, not the one that just now passed, but 2015, last year, I made the most of it, even though there wasn't enough guests. But I talked to my favorite artists like Michael Golden, as well as Rich Buckler, the creator of Deathlock, which is the picture that you're seeing right now, based on the dystopian Marvel comic character. I had, for the most part, I had a good time, but it just wasn't the same like the previous years that I attended. It almost became like a fucking marketplace, like too many shops, all these weird venues, commercialized venues. I mean, I know at the end of the day it's a business, but some of the spirit has been removed. However,
that's for sure. There's definitely an element of that.
I definitely love the cosplayers, especially the female scantily clad ones.
The ladies. Yeah, there's a rumor going around that I like to take pictures with some of those girls. I don't know how that got started, but it's very...
That's not a bad thing.
Well, I think Tom Ryan started that rumor, I believe.
What's that?
I said I think Tom Ryan started that rumor.
Probably, or it could be every one of my profile pictures on Facebook. It could be that. I don't know, though.
The only problem with that is trying to figure out who has bigger tits, the woman or Todd.
Yeah, I am a solid D cup now. So it's depending on what I'm wearing.
I guess I shouldn't have said tits. I suppose that's probably not politically correct.
What you gonna say? Moobs? Is that the new word?
Yeah.
The acceptable word?
Boobies. I always like boobies.
Boobies.
All right. So, Todd, did you get a chance to read Creepy Thin Man's article about Trump?
I did, but I'll be honest. I got about 3/4 of the way through it.
Oh.
And it's not a reflection on him. Overall, I've just had enough. I'm overloaded on election rhetoric. And I called it, and I'm going on record as saying I called it. That anybody who thought, I saw people posting on social media, "Oh, I can't wait for this fucking election to be over so all this bullshit on social media can end." Guess what? It only got worse,
Oh, yeah.
So I did read the article, and again, I just want to make it clear, it's not a reflection on Creepy Thin Man, but I was just like, okay, I fucking get it. I get it. People on both sides are not happy. We're still a divided country. People suck, and people are shitty to one another. Okay. I totally get it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's still the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But in this case, post-election day, it's gotten much, much worse. Because now, since Trump is president-elect, there's been a uptick, high spike of hate crimes, whether it's anti-black, Muslim, gay, Hispanic. It's it's as if part of America, and it's a vast part of America, are showing their true colors, you know. And although I can't hold Trump 100% responsible for this, but it's due to his hate speech and his empty rhetoric and xenophobic comments like build a wall and scapegoating the Mexicans. That type of message adheres to weak-minded individuals, particularly from the red states, you know, and the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that it resonates with them, and then they start, you know, let's get out guns, and we could carry our Confederate flag, and make all these kind of comments and harassing individuals because of their ethnicity or sexual orientation. It's hopefully things will get better, but a little pessimistic at this time.
I agree. I am trying to hold out some hope that in the end, like, decent people will stand up. I did get into an interesting conversation with some friends because, you know, Trump, the problem, I guess I got a lot of problems with Trump, but one of the biggest problems is I don't think we even really know where he truly stands, because now he's backtracking on a lot of the things he had said during the campaign.
Oh, yeah, 180.
So, you know, he said, I no longer, you know, I'm not interested in prosecuting Hillary Clinton. He has recently said, I'm going to take another look at global warming. And I said to my friends, it really hasn't occurred to you yet that you may have just been played, you know. He is a master marketer. He pandered to the lowest common denominator in this country. He got the votes, and he became president. He fucking played it. And as much as I hate the guy, he played it masterfully, you know? So now he's already elected president. So he could legit turn around and say, you know what, Hillary, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to call for a special prosecutor.
Right.
And what is anybody going to do about it? What are his followers going to do about it? He already got fucking elected. So he can step back on all that stuff now. But the problem is, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little long-winded, but the problem now is, who knows if he's telling the truth now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. So he's walking back. Oh, maybe it won't be a wall. Maybe it'll just be increased border security or whatever. I have no idea if he's telling the truth now or what. I have no idea.
And I think that, well, you know, that is a problem. And I think he doesn't even know what he believes. I think the only thing that I know he believes 100% is money is everything. And the more I can get, the better it'll be. That's his whole, that's all he cares about is money. And he's got so many fingers and so many different pies globally. I can't see how he's going to be able to deal objectively with these countries that he's got business deals with. I have a big problem with that.
Yeah, and not only that, Scott, but my true biggest fear is his temperament. Yeah. Here's a guy who, let's look at, because I'm over here in the New York area, I'm a little closer to it. The whole, where Pence went to see Hamilton, and at the end, one of the cast members read a statement, and I thought it was very benign. It was just like, look, this is an ethnically diverse group of people. Some of us are very scared. We just ask that you, protect, I'm paraphrasing, but we just ask that you, think of protecting and serving everybody. I didn't find anything wrong with it. Pence himself even said he wasn't offended but fucking Trump went apeshit. and if he can't deal with that, if he can't deal with what some Broadway actor said and at the end of a show, what is he going to do when some world leader, like he perceives some slight from some world leader or something, like go on Twitter and denounce, the leader of fucking Australia or Germany, like it's like the temperament of a 15-year-old girl, like going on Twitter because some other girl said that, her makeup looked funny. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah, in layman's terms, as Bill Maher often said, he's a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
He's going to be like the first Twitter president. For those that think that America will be great again, they have another thing coming. And even though, say what you will, anyone can say about Obama, I'm sure that Trump, his accomplishments will be nowhere as great or at least good as Obama's, which, for example, he kept us out of a second Great Depression. All right, the healthcare reform thing is a little sketchy. He saved America's auto industry. He removed the don't ask, don't tell policy of the armed forces and greatly improved benefits for vets, as well as he signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, the almost equal pay for women. I don't think Trump would have anything nearly as substantial as Obama's past accomplishments.
Well,
and on top of that, he's a sexist and a misogynist pig. So not to throw in the SJW, whatever the fuck they want to call it, social justice warrior bullshit.
Yeah. No, but you're right though. Like, and everything you said, StalkEye, I agree completely. And at the end, regardless of how you felt about Obama's policies and politics, I think he led the country with class, grace, and dignity in the face of like overwhelming bullshit. Like 8 years of people saying you're not really an American citizen, and assorted other bullshit. Like if nothing else, no scandals, no bullshit. To me, I liked Obama. Of course I don't agree with everything he did. How could you possibly,
Exactly.
But you never sat and at least I never sat back and said, wow, that Obama's a slimy piece of shit, isn't he? Like, no, he handled the job gracefully for 8 years, in my opinion.
Not only that, but he dealt with the things that they were calling his wife and the things that were calling his daughters. And to be able to, I have issues with my family. That's never been much of a secret. But if anybody said any of the things that were said about his family, about mine, I'd be in jail for murder. You don't fuck with the family. No,
true.
No matter how fucked up they are, they're still your family.
Well, and this is what I've said every time one of my Republican friends tells me or posts on Facebook, listen, get over it. He got elected. It's time, we got to accept it. He's your president. You have to respect him. Let me think. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't have to respect him. Mm-hmm. I respect, as an American, I respect the office of the president. But that doesn't mean I don't think the person sitting in the Oval Office is not a buffoon, So I don't have to respect Donald Trump. These are the same people that have been, posting pictures of Michelle Obama as a monkey for 8 years.
Yeah.
So now I'm supposed to, turn around and respect the moron that they elected? I think not.
Yeah,
You StalkEye, you're afraid of my rants now? Those people better buckle the fuck up, because it's going to be an interesting 4 years.
watch out. Yeah, the sad thing, one of the unfortunate things about this election is the polarization between friends, family, associates. For example, it's I had I guess like a big disagreement with someone I've known for, well, I would say online at least, for like 4 or 5 years, and it was like right after the day Trump won, and I'm just like, oh, fuck this shit. I know it may seem a little childish. Unfortunately, we had a parting of the ways. He's still a great guy. If anyone, would ask me about him, still a great guy, and I wish him all the best. And even before then, I had a close friend who I, went on vacations with. He was pro-Trump, and he started right after Election Day, like throwing this out, saying Trump will do this, Trump will do that, making disparaging remarks about Obama and Hillary. Yeah, I know Hillary has, a few issues and dirt in her laundry, but it's just that him and his mother, who I also know very well, they wouldn't learn to shut the fuck up. So I ended up getting into a little back and forth with them, and as of now, we're not even speaking.
Well, and I was alluding to this earlier before we started recording. I was out with my mother Sunday, and it's been a weekly ritual of ours for a few years now. We go out for breakfast, and we go food shopping, and just kind of hang out. We were talking about Thanksgiving. I said, no politics. I said, you need to tell your daughter, her husband, and your grandkids, no politics at Thanksgiving, period. End of story. And I said, because the first person who opens their mouth, I'm not going to be responsible for what I say or do. And she's like, well, how can you say that? I said, have you met our family? You know we're a bunch of fucking big mouths. I didn't say fucking, but, right. We have big mouths, and we're not, you can't keep us quiet if we get pissed off about something. And I said, it's just best that, we don't talk about it. And she's like, try and keep the peace in the family so we can get through these holidays. So then I have 9 months of not having to deal with these fucking people again. Mainly my sister and her family. I still love my mom. Of course, she's my mom.
Mom should always be number one, even you disagree with her or not, Yeah.
And here's the thing that I was trying to get across to my mother and to an extent to my sister, and they just don't get it. I grew up at a time where the people that were openly gay on TV were people like Marty and Mr. Driscoll on Barney Miller. Criminals. Or Beverly LaSalle on All in the Family, a drag queen who ends up getting murdered.
Oh, yeah, I remember that episode.
Those were the gay role models I had growing up, because I knew I was gay very early on. And, it was something that you didn't talk about. And then during the Reagan era, when AIDS came about and Reagan didn't do anything, he wouldn't even say the word AIDS. Oh, it was HTLV3 back then. And thousands upon thousands of people died needlessly because of his inaction.
Right.
Yes.
They don't understand what it's like to be a minority. And when you hear somebody running for the presidency saying, I'm going to take away all of your rights, And the vice president believes that electroshock therapy can make a gay person straight. You get scared.
Yeah, and it's funny because on my recent article about Escape from LA being now more, how should I say, relevant than ever, there's some parts of that film that parallels with what Trump's regime is all about, like these tighter restrictions and demonizing individuals, be they Muslim or gay, whatever. And there is one little GIF, or what's it called, GIF, that I added in where these people are getting electrocuted, and I said, introducing the Pence proposition.
Wow.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's on one of the threads that I go to, the moderator of that thread, he's also gay, and he's very concerned about Mike Pence, saying that he's a bigger threat than Trump. Was that saying true power lies behind the throne? So he's one to watch out for. If Trump gets impeached or, the A word, he'll step right in and have, put his own agendas in the forefront.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that, if you guys saw my post, that I wrote right after the election, another thing that got me pissed off was when people tell me or my friends how we should feel. Like, no, don't tell my gay friends or black friends or Muslim friends how they should feel. I may have an opinion, but I have no perspective of what it's like to be a gay man or a black man or a Muslim, because I am not one. So, how dare I tell anyone in any of those groups or any other group how they should feel? That's the height of hubris. I'm not a fan of the term white privilege, but I prefer the term white experience. I think that's a more accurate term. I know that my experience in daily life is very different from a black person or a Muslim person or a gay person, but it's the only experience I have. So I can't really apologize for being born a straight white male. That's the life that I have. So I don't appreciate some of the attacks coming the other way either. But yeah, it's some scary shit, and the fact that like people are telling others how they should feel, it's fucking ridiculous.
That's true. What's funny is it's like my wife, she goes on those what is it, those web pages? I think it's like Occupy Democrats.
Yeah.
Yes, she ends up arguing with like the Republican trolls. I mean, and I'm telling her, like, get off those sites, get off Facebook, because she even ends up arguing with her friends who the majority voted for Trump, especially the mother of my friend that I told you about, who I'm not speaking to either one of them. I told her, look, you don't need this, this type of stress. And then the next thing you know, I'm on the site arguing with people.
Yeah. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. My cousin Michelle, who I talked about last week, she's on a lot of those sites. And I stopped following a lot of them just to keep my blood pressure low. But, with Facebook, when somebody that makes a comment, it'll pop up in your timeline sometimes. And so I've been seeing her comments to these things, and she and I think alike, so that's not the issue. It's just, these other people who have been pro-Trump and telling us, we're overreacting and all this nonsense. Before we run out of time, I have a quick question for the both of you, and then we'll talk just a bit about what we're thankful for this Thanksgiving. But I just read today Hillary Clinton now has 2 million more votes than uh, Trump. Okay, she's at 63 million, which is only 2 million shy of what Obama got 4 years ago. So, question is it time to get rid of the Electoral College? StalkEye.
Fuck yes. She won the populist vote, so by default, she should have won the presidency. I think that, the cynical son of a bitch that I am at times, think that in her case, the election was rigged, be it, what's that, the FBI Director James Comey coming out of nowhere a week before election. Oh, we may have found something about her in the emails, which ironically, the red herring was that asshole Andrew Weiner's, his dick pics led to sabotage her chances of winning, as well as voter suppression, removing the polls from black or urban communities to have them go as far as the rural areas where they may lack transportation, so that'll prevent them from voting. So I think, I know Trump was quick to say, oh, it's rigged. In his case, but it was really rigged, against her. So, I think we could do without the Electoral College.
Funny how we haven't heard anything about emails since then.
Yeah, right. I know. Wink, wink.
Yeah, right. Todd, what do you think?
I would say no. Not do away with it, because if you do your research into why it was designed that way in the first place, it does have a purpose. But I would say it's time to do what 11 states have already done, and that's assign their their electors based on the national popular vote. That has already been signed into law in 11 states. And I think that would level the playing field, because then candidates would have to campaign across all 50 states rather than just concentrating in the 7 or 8 so-called battleground states that decide every election. Like New Jersey, I knew, I did go to vote because I cherished that right. But I knew when I woke up in the morning that no matter how well Trump did, she was going to win New Jersey. So I was just, why even, I really needn't have bothered. There's a lot of states that are like that, where it's a foregone conclusion. So I think if we, adopted that, across all 50 states, where electors are signed based upon the national popular vote, that would level the playing field and would really change the presidential dynamic.
Agreed. It's more like a streamlined procedure as opposed to, what's going on now.
Yeah, and I think it would make people feel that their vote actually did matter.
Right. I also have to place part of the blame on those who are apathetic in terms of voting, like when their candidate, Bernie Sanders, who I actually did vote for during the primaries, when he lost, or I guess was screwed over by the DNC, many decided not to vote, or to vote in favor of Trump as a means of a protest vote. So that, and of course, there was a lower voting turnout among African Americans as compared to the last presidential election. And this is partly because of the Clintons' past record in regards to the crime bill, which in some ways unjustifiably mass incarcerated a lot of blacks for carrying, I guess, illegal substance like marijuana, giving them harsh prison sentences. which I believe was unjust. Violent offenders, yeah, lock their asses up or wear the keys, but something, like weed or whatever, and you're getting 5 to 10 years, that's, that's beyond extreme.
But the thing about that is when that was voted on and passed, she may have supported it, but she had nothing. She didn't. She wasn't in office. She was just.
I know she didn't implement it, but and with the mention of super predators.
But the Congressional Black Caucus supported it. So and people kind of forget that. Anyway, I think Todd is right. It needs to be streamlined. I was talking with Wade today, and he was asking me how things were going in this post-Trump election. And I said, only in America could somebody have 2 million more votes than their opponent and still lose. So, that's where we're at.
I mean, I know I did the best I could. 6 o'clock in the morning, went straight to the school and voted for her. As I definitely see her as the lesser of the two evils, even though some people say different, like those with the tinfoil hats, like she murdered all those who worked under her, like she's this dragon lady, Madam Cobra, ruthless gangster. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm getting like YouTube from people I know. All this conspiracy shit. I'm like, oh damn.
She could do all of that. She could murder all these people and delete all these emails, but she couldn't stop a 74-year-old socialist from running against her.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Right. Worst assassin in fucking history.
Right.
Yeah. It was like, it's someone who I'm not going to mention this person's name, who was on my, on my Twitter as a follower and vice versa. All I kept seeing was fucking postings about Hillary this, Hillary that, like, as if she was a James Bond villain. I'm like, what is this shit? And
that's how you can tell who listens to Alex Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't have all the answers. These weird postings is not like 100% fact. It would have to be a whole lot of fact checking. I think it's bullshit. I know HRC is no angel, but still, from these accusations that I've heard about, I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ, And Trump is a fucking saint. The guy was caught on tape talking about grabbing women's pussies, as well as a few other things.
Well, but that's Todd's hobby, so you can't knock him for that.
Yeah, I'm like, of all the things, well...
And it's just weird that when Trump started off scapegoating the Mexicans, he's like saying to them, listen, you motherfuckers. And then over a year later, here we are. He's president-elect. He's calling a group of people motherfuckers.
Right.
So, you're welcome, America.
So in spite of all this, do we have anything to be grateful for, Todd? What do you have to be grateful for?
We do. Look, in the end, it's scary, it's frightening, but I honestly think we're going to survive the next 4 years. We still live in a great country. It is still full of opportunity. I've always maintained that the poorest poor person in America is probably better off than half the population of the planet. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for all my family, and I'm thankful for all my friends, both, the sort of real life ones and the Facebook ones. People tease me for being a Facebook junkie, but because of Facebook and social media, I get to interact with people all over the world. I would never have known about Scott if it wasn't for Facebook. and now we've been hosting, an awesome podcast together for over a year. I get to do some really awesome shit because of all my friends, and for that I am truly, truly grateful.
All right, StalkEye, what about you?
Of course, my beautiful wife, who once in a while has the Italian temperament. No offense, guys, but yeah, she's
please.
she's a great woman.
I get
Love her to death. I would probably be nothing without her. Also, all my close friends on the various sites and social media, my godchildren, my mother, and last but not least, my two pain in the ass kids, Sky and Ollie.
As much as I bitch about him, I am grateful for my family. Because through all of the health problems that I've had over the last couple of years, they've always been there for me, running me to doctor's appointments, getting my prescriptions, and and doing things that at times I wasn't able to do for myself. And even with those health problems, I'm so grateful for the health that I do have right now. And obviously grateful to be still doing this podcast. And really, I know a lot of people say, well, I can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years, but I really can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years. I never thought, I would get this far. And I can't think of not doing it. I just absolutely love doing this show. Love having Todd on with me, and he's as much a part of the Imaginarium as anything. And the show really, as you said, StalkEye, it really wouldn't be the same without him now.
You guys have a great show, great podcast. Keep holding it down, and as the brothers would say, stay lit.
All right. And on that, before we go, Todd, do you want to plug your shindig in December?
Oh, yes. The next Grindhouse Nights at Cafe Z event coming up Friday night, December 2nd, 7 o'clock at Cafe Z in Union, New Jersey. We're doing our second annual toy drive to support Scares That Care. Last year, we collected 90 toys that were handed out to less fortunate children at the holidays. We want to beat that number this year. We're going to have some great Christmas-themed cosplayers with a costume contest, some awesome prize giveaways. Nicole Oliva will be singing for us again. It's going to be a great time. All
right. And don't you have something going on? If you bring in a Atari, you get entered into a lottery or something?
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's two prizes. One is a prize package of the season 1 of Ash vs. Evil Dead on Blu-ray, along with a Funko Pop vinyl action figure of Ash. And second prize is you get to touch my man boobs.
and third prize is you have to touch them twice.
Yes. That's my prize.
Well, on that note.
Oh, boy. Okay. We veered off into the ditch once again.
Right into the ditch.
Crazy show.
Check out the other podcasts we have at thesupernauts.com. And until next time, may all of your journeys be filled with pure imagination.